Do you want a perfect evidence of the woke virus destroying everything that it touches? I can't imagine any better example than what's happened with the U.S. women's soccer team. Back in 2015, I went to Canada to watch the U.S. women beat Japan, and everybody was absolutely fantastically excited about the U.S. women winning in 2015. They were one of the most popular sports teams in all of America. That continued for a couple of years up until they got super woke, led by Megan Rapinoe and other members as well. The U.S. women's soccer team denigrated the President of the United States, refused to visit the White House, and tore down American institutions at a time when they could have been building them up. Honestly, what's always disappointed me about the U.S. women as they decided to get political is they could have used their dominance as a sign of American exceptionalism. Did you know that you can pick the winner of almost every women's soccer game by simply comparing which country has more basic human rights? Because the country with more human rights typically allows women athletes to be better. And the reason why our women dominate in soccer and our men have not is because our women have basic human rights in America that many of the women around the world don't have. So on the global stage, Megan Rapinoe and other U.S. women could have said, this is what happens when you empower women, when you allow women in your country's basic human rights. They become outstanding athletes and their full talents can be rolled into the overall economy of your country. I still believe one of the saddest things that happens far too often around the world is when people, men and women, are not allowed to reach their full potential because they're being constrained in some way. And so the U.S. women have now so destroyed their brand to a large extent. I never would have believed this was possible, that many people out there root against the U.S. women and root for the other countries that they are playing against. This is what the woke virus does. It divides, it conquers, and it destroys overall fandom, and it pulls us all apart instead of allowing us to unite together around one common side. I think this is a big issue going on with the Olympics right now. I think that social media and the woke virus has so harmed the overall brand of American sports that a lot of people just don't want to sit back and watch the Olympics. Now, overseas time zones hurt. I think NBC has done a bad job of explaining what events are going on, when they are occurring, what's live and what's not. I think certainly the rise of streaming hurts sports audiences overall because everybody has more opportunity to choose whatever they would like to watch. But I think there is no argument at this point in time against the idea that the woke virus has significantly altered in a major way the audience in a negative way. Because there's nobody out there who was like, hey, you know what? I would watch the NBA, but they don't have Black Lives Matter on the basketball court, so I'm going to ignore them. I would watch the U.S. women's soccer team, but I'm not sure what they think about Donald Trump, so I'm going to ignore them. Being woke doesn't add any overall fans to your sport. Now, the problem is companies like Nike have incentivized woke individual athletes. It might be good for Megan Rapinoe's individual brand because more people know her if she is polarizing, but it's far worse for the overall U.S. women's soccer brand in general. And that's why I think so many people were rooting against the U.S. women. Now, they didn't play well either. They came out and got whipped by Sweden. They got a tie against Australia. I believe they won in a penalty kick shootout against Norway, and now they lost to Canada. They never played well throughout this entire U.S. Olympics. But this is just a disaster of epic proportions for the overall brand of U.S. women's soccer. And they have now created a situation where they've gone from one of the most popular teams in all of America to one that is a fraction as popular as they used to be.